So for this morning, we are fortunate to have as our keynote speaker Aidan Chopra, who is a geo-evangelist, and he's prepared a presentation that talks about UGC, the importance of user-generated content in Google's vision for the future, and the contribution that you guys are making. So we'll start off by giving Aidan a round of applause.
Good morning, everybody. All right, put up your hand if you can hear me. I'm gonna test out this sort of mic. Put your hand down when you can't hear me anymore. If I speak like this, okay. If I speak like this, is this better? All right. Okay. So this is what we're gonna do. Most keynote speeches are very stodgy affairs where I talk and you all kind of go to sleep. I talk and interesting stuff to you. So instead, what I'm trying to do is ask questions and keep you a little bit engaged. Number two, I'm not going to talk about things about which you guys are bigger experts than I am. I'm going to talk about some things that are a little bigger picture. I was trying to come up with a good title for this presentation. Ultimately, all titles are sort of pretentious and dumb. So I just decided on this one, which I happen to think is particularly fantastic. So when I say the title of the presentation, you go, because it's very important. Wait, right? Superheroes of the future. There you go, exactly. And of course, who do we mean are the superheroes of the future? Not James. Look at him. It's clearly you. And here's why. Who knows what this stands for? UGC. Yes, in the front.
User-generated content.
Exactly. It's a Google, aren't you? This is totally cheating. So, I promise I didn't put it in there. User-generated content. That term is so technical and dry, isn't it? It means basically anything that gets put on Google or other platforms that the company doesn't make. This is stuff that people all over the world make. But it's just the kind of meaning of this really downplays its importance. The fact is that for really big projects, which is to say most of the projects that Google undertakes, UGC, user-generated content, is really the only way forward. In fact, so literally, tour of Sierra Familia yesterday. The beautiful building, right? There's this amazing drawing which isn't showing up right here. Did anybody notice the signature or the title block up in the corner? It's clear that even experts make mistakes, isn't it? It says something, let's say, and then it has to put media at the end. So clearly they spent the entire, probably 500 hours on this drawing, Gaudi did, and then messed up the title by having to put the end. The point is that the line between experts and so-called non-experts, or UGC contributors, has blurred, and it's clearly have been blurred for the last 150 years or so. In fact, a lot of the things that Google does are entirely dependent on UGC in the first place. Does anybody use YouTube? Do you know how we keep bad videos from being on YouTube? Do you think that there's a person at Google who watches every single video on YouTube to make sure that there's nothing inappropriate? Put up your hand if you think there is. I kind of blew that one, didn't I? Well, the idea is that there's a little flag as inappropriate button, right? So that anybody in the world can look at that video and say, this isn't a video that my children should watch, or this is a video that my grandmother should watch. And they can press the button. And then those videos, when they get tagged often enough, get shown to a person at Google who decides whether they're appropriate or not. That flagging process, that's a form of user-generated content. That's leveraging a huge community of people all over the world to help manage a project which is so big that one company or one entity can never hope to do it on its own. Does that make sense? Another thing, has anyone heard of PageRank? The very first patent at Google. Hands up if you've heard of PageRank before. You have. PageRank is the algorithm that plays a big part in deciding which search results get put at the very top of the search results. Does that make sense? What PageRank does is it doesn't look at how popular a particular link is. It looks at how many other pages link to that The stuff that we're doing is kind of very low user interaction stuff. The stuff that you're doing is beautiful. It involves craft and time and love and affection and that sort of thing. And so what you're doing is actually even more critically important than the type of VDC that Google already depends on to do almost everything we do. So let's go through, I promise, a very incredibly brief history of the web. Has anyone heard of this term Web 1.0? Put up your hand if you have. A few people. Do you really know what that means? Do you remember when you used to go, let's see, who first went to the internet in 1995? Few people. 1994. 1996. We'll go the other direction. 97. 98. 99. 2000. Do you remember the web pages back then? They all kind of looked like, well, let's see. The content itself was static, meaning that there were no, remember there was this sort of moving, there was like an animated GIF a lot of the time. You had something flashing and moving like this. But that was really all the motion that you had on a web page. Everything was not only static in that it didn't move, it was also static in that it never really changed. It was just words and pictures. It was read-only, meaning all you could do as a visitor to a web page was see the content that was on there. You couldn't affect it or change it in any way. It was centrally controlled in that the content came entirely from whoever published the page. It was exactly like a book. Once the publisher put something on the page, you couldn't change it. And of course, the technology that made that was just HTML. This is a very typical, actually I just found this when I was looking for bands to identify my baby's bottles. But, so this is a new website that these people have put up, but it's very typical of Web 1.0 technology. There's just some pictures that I can click, there's some links and things like that, pictures, stuff like that, but there's nothing interactive at all. Around 2000, 2001, we started transitioning into something that a lot of people, specifically Tim Berners-Lee, who invented the World Wide Web, started calling Web 2.0. And the difference here is that the web page started becoming interactive. The idea is that the content started to become user-contributed. All of a sudden, we had a lot of social activity on the web, even before Facebook, there was sprints or things like that. And the technology behind these kinds of pages is HTML that is written or run by JavaScript and Ajax, which are a couple of technologies that mean that the content can actually change depending on what the user wants to do. So Google Docs is a very good example of this Web 2.0 thing, right? This is a website that's actually a piece of software that I can use to author content. Is anybody a user of Google Docs? Few people? Excellent. Thank you very much. Amazon is another excellent example of Web 2.0 technology. The website itself has a combination of images and other things, but when I press buttons or change quantities or leave a review, the page changes and it changes forever. Facebook, obviously, another striking Web 2.0 technology, and even better, Google Plus. Google Plus. Right? Answer if you like Google Plus. Yeah? Okay. We have really high hopes for it. I think it solves a lot of problems that people have said they have with Facebook. I personally like it a lot better. I find it less cluttered. Does anybody know who Tang is? The 3D model is all on the wheels, right? That guy's a hero. My goodness, his work is good. And he never fails to show exactly how amazing his work is for everybody in Google Plus. It's actually a fantastic way to publish your thoughts and the things that you show. Okay. So we looked at what Web 1.0 is, and we looked at what Web 2.0 is. What's Web 3.0? Does anybody have any ideas? Anybody? Who would like to posit what is Web 3.0? Remember, superheroes of the future. John?
Is it via mobile phone?
Via mobile phone. So that's actually a really good answer, right? Possibly the mobile web is the future of the web. In fact, you're exactly right. In one respect, the vast majority of people on the planet will access the internet via a mobile phone instead of a full-on computer. That may already be the case, but it's certainly going to be the case within the next couple of years. Whether the future of the web is to be looking on it on a screen this big, hopefully that's not the future of the web. Who has some other ideas about what the future of the web might Web 3.0.
All the different platforms coming together.
All different platforms coming together. What do you mean by that? Elaborate a little?
Well, you have a lot of different applications out there on the web, like Google Docs, but it's separated from Google Plus.
Right.
It's not working together.
I see. So the idea is different websites don't necessarily talk to one another because they don't speak the same language. You're exactly on the right course.
Maybe even like business applications that use information from LinkedIn.
Right, so business applications that use the information from LinkedIn. Wouldn't it be interesting if the content on the web could talk to the other content on the web so that some of the decisions that you're making could actually start to be more advanced queries? What you're getting at is something called the semantic web, and that's one of the things I'm going to talk about for a little bit. Does anybody else have any ideas? Like, this is big dreams, Nick.
Web-based OS.
Web-based OS. So sort of cloud computing with the notion that your desktop disappears, in fact your hard drive disappears, and everything you do is on the web. That's probably what Google would like the future of the web, the internet to be. I think for some applications that's fantastic. I really like being able to work quickly on a plane on the way over here. So I personally hope that that doesn't replace all the computing. That's an excellent answer. This are three Web 3.0s that are scenarios that a lot of people think might be like the geo web, the metaverse. That sounds very exciting all of a sudden, doesn't it? And something called the semantic web. So let's run through those. Let's see. The geo web posits that all information, this should get this crowd of people very excited, right? Here's the way, there's a lot of ways to look at all the information in the world. You could organize all the information in the world by color. So clouds and sheep and a lot of older office would be organized entirely by one color, something like that, right? Or you could say we're going to organize the web by all the things that are red or blue. This is, of course, a stupid way to organize all the information in the world. There are other ways to organize all the information in the world. You can put all the information in the world on a giant timeline. So you can organize all the information by time, right? You could say everything existed at some point in time. We're going to organize it all on a big timeline. It's sort of difficult. It turns out that a really compelling way to organize information is through geography. Because almost everything has a geographic component to it. Every car on Earth, every color, every time, abstract concepts like the notion of food to specific concepts like the notion of a particular restaurant, everything has a place. And so a lot of people have said that in an advanced web, something like Google Earth or Google Maps might actually become the interface for the internet. It might be that we're searching for information, that we're experiencing online information in the world geographically. Does that sound like a good idea to people? Yeah, I mean, it certainly means that the things that you're engaged in doing, right? Creating geographic content for a worldwide audience becomes hugely important. In a way that now it's really important, there it becomes absolutely key. So the geographic user-generated content that people, you people in this room are creating could well be the core of what the future of the internet might look like. This might be how people browse. This is my favorite. This is the metaverse. In this stream, we'll all be users, we'll all be avatars in a parallel universe. Did anybody see, let's see, that show Caprica that was on a couple years ago? Or has anybody been to Second Life? Are there any Second Life users here? One, I might say something kind of insulting. Here's the thing about Second Life. Second Life is an online world where you can create anything you want, right? Property, there's no such thing as realistic geography. There are islands, there are other communities. You buy virtual real estate. You create some sort of a business or a residence on that real estate, and then you yourself could be a flying lizard, or you could be a fire hydrant, you could be both. You could be anything you want. Most people tend to look like warrior women, unfortunately, on Second Life, but that's just how it is. The distinguishing of course, that you can fly, just like in Google Earth, but the geography is unfamiliar. Has anyone read this book, Snow Crash? Nicole has read Snow Crash. Anyone else? You have. Very nice. What did you think of the book?
It's very futuristic because of the ideas we had back in the 80s or 90s. And it will come to reality now in the next 10 or 20 years.
Exactly. So what this gentleman said, what's your name? Johan. Nice to meet you, Johan. Johan talks about this book being very futuristic. It certainly is. It's science fiction. The interesting thing about this book, if you're a Google Earth user, is a lot of people say that this book actually was the science fiction inspiration for Google Earth. So Snow Crash takes place in the future. It's this hyper-capitalist, this super-capitalist society where everything is for sale. People are able to go to a parallel reality by using some sort of hologram device. And in this parallel reality, they have superpowers. They can do magic. You can do anything you want. Your avatar may look like you, but it may not look like you. It's a lot like Second Life is now, but in a much more advanced way. More powerful computers, that sort of thing. What's interesting is that in this Snow Crash, what they call metaverse, there's a software application called Earth that looks a lot like Google Earth. So that your avatar, when you're in the metaverse, can open a software application that looks like a globe and fly down into it exactly like you can in Google Earth. I highly recommend this book if you're looking for something to read. It's well known and it's probably translated into other languages, so I would take a look at it. Both of these notions of the metaverse, though, I think, are flawed. And here's why I think they're flawed. I think that what's wrong with them is that there's no notion of parallel geography. What that means is that people, I believe, orient themselves in terms of space. They understand concepts based on where they are, based on familiar landmarks and places where they've been or where they'd like to go. So that things like, I'd say this is, this is a special effect that I had, very nice flames. I think that actually a much more powerful notion of what this metaverse might look like. This is for Nicole. She's sitting there, that huge Star Trek nerd who I have to sit next to all the time, where has the Starship Enterprise on her computer. This notion of the future, has everybody seen Star Trek? Hands up when you've seen Star Trek. You're a Star Trek fan. Really? Not? I'm shocked. This crowd? No more Trekkies. The holodeck is basically a holographic experience where you can go and you can recreate any experience you want. So you can be dressed as anything you want. You can walk around in an infinite universe of anything you want. But even on Star Trek, where they imagine all kinds of things, right? Whenever the people would go to the holodeck to have an experience, it was always some familiar geography. It was usually a time in the past. And so they would, in this case, you've got a robot and a blind guy, and Susan Sarandon. For some reason, this was a screenshot. I can find it there in the Old West or something. The idea is they would go back in time, but what remained constant was a familiar geography. This is my supposition. My thinking is that if the metaverse becomes a reality, if all of a sudden there's a parallel online universe that we can enter and experience as avatars, the constant will be familiar geography. It's going to be a mirror of what the Earth actually looks like right now. So the maps and 3D buildings and photographs that you folks are producing, are actually making and contributing, become even more important because they become the groundwork for this new universe that people are going to occupy. I think that time travel is probably going to be the thing that changes. People will go back and forwards in time, but the space itself is going to look exactly like the Earth does. That's what I hope, anyway. Because for me, the notion of Second Life, where you create this completely imaginary place that has no boundaries in the way that we understand them, is too disorienting to people to become really compelling. Good check mark. Okay, so let's talk about the semantic web. Has anybody ever heard of the semantic web? Yeah. Are you an expert on the semantic web? the internet computing. Here's what we mean. When this gentleman, I mentioned yesterday, it's not Andre. It is Andre. Oh my gosh, how did I remember that? I'm amazing. I am a superhero of the future. I never get names right. Anyway, if your Facebook account could talk to, well, that's kind of a bad example, because Facebook sort of can't talk to everything. But if your Google Docs could talk to your LinkedIn, could talk to Amazon, could talk to everything else on the web, and actually understood what everything else was, all of a sudden, you could ask the computer to do things that are much more advanced than what you can ask the computer to do now. The key here is that the information on the web needs to be marked up in some way that the computers can read instead of just people. Right now, everything on the web is just human readable. It's just a language, it's a word, and the tags generally just say it should be bold or it should be italic, or this is a photo and maybe there's a caption. The important thing for the development of the semantic web is to have the information annotated with metadata that tells the computer exactly what that thing is. So let's run through a scenario. Okay, so this is a query. Imagine if you type this into Google right now. What do you think you get?
September.
You get September. I don't think you do get September. I tried this. Did somebody actually do this and get September? No? What do you think you get?
Hotel.
You get hotels, so you get some ads for hotels. What else do you get?
What's that? Where? When should I do?
When should I visit Barcelona? You do get some hotels, right? You definitely get links to articles from travel websites that just say Barcelona, right? But the problem is that the computer needs to be able to do two things to get this query right, to actually return a good answer. It has to understand, in this case English, it has to understand what I mean by when should I visit Barcelona. And it has to understand what all of those words actually mean in a way that relates them to each other, so that it can go out on the web and find the information relevant. So in this case, the computer in the semantic web would say, okay, I started the sentence with when. This means that the answer to this question is probably going to be a time or a date, or a date range, right? It might be June through October, something like that. But the computer doesn't know at this point. I'm referring to myself like I usually am. This is a verb that might have something to do with, say, relative or tourism, maybe, I don't know. We could go around the web, we could say visit usually means this, so we could clean some things. And Barcelona is a place. So this is what the logic in the semantic web might look like. Maybe we look at the first word and we say, okay, the computer says, I need to decide if Aidan wants a time or date. I don't know how to make a decision. This depends on the object of the sentence. The object of the sentence is Barcelona. What's a Barcelona? I have no idea. Actually, go and look up what a Barcelona is. Let's find out. So let's look at Barcelona. Okay, Barcelona is a proper noun. It's a place, but it could also be a person. Maybe the logic says, does he know anyone called Barcelona? Maybe he should go and look at his contact book, or maybe his email history. Who knows? Maybe there's. So what I need to do now is I need to go out on the web, everything that Aidan's ever touched, and figure out if there's someone named Barcelona that Aidan might be looking to visit. No, Aidan doesn't know anybody in Barcelona. Anyway, is Barcelona a popular place? Yes, it is. So from this we glean that Aidan probably means Barcelona, the place. Okay, so this is a statistical analysis. The computer can say, I think there's a 98% chance that Aidan means Barcelona, the city, and not Barcelona, this woman we found living in Kentucky, or something like that. So go tell the word when Aidan means a place. Okay, so when says, okay, so he means a place. I still don't have any information. I don't know what I should do with this. I should look at the verb in the sentence. Okay, well, let's look at the verb. The verb is visit. The verb in the sentence is visit. The object of the sentence is Barcelona, which is a place. Usually, statistically, people visit places for days, not hours. They go there for a period of time, right? So go tell when that Aidan wants a date range. Okay, so when now is starting to get some decision. Aidan probably wants a date range because he wanted it in the past or the future. Maybe look at the only word left. We look at the word should. Should. Word should implies the future. Go tell when that we mean the future. Okay, when now looks at this. Aidan probably wants a date range in the future. Okay. The trouble is, that was like a very have no basis for making this decision. I don't know. I know maybe what a place is. Maybe it has something to do with what they do. Oh my gosh, the verb do. Like, do is an even bigger word. How do I even parse that? What's weather? Maybe weather has something to do with it? I don't know. Is hot better or is cold better? In that case, who is Aidan? I mean, I know that Aidan is logged in as this account, right? But I need to go and look at everything. Maybe I go back and, as a computer, I sound a lot like Aidan as a computer, but I am a computer. Maybe I need to go back and I look at all of his travel history. So maybe I go and look at orbits, or I look at Travelocity, or I look at Google Travel, or Kayak, or something, and figure out, does Aidan tend to want to go to hot places, or does he go to cold places? And so I have to figure out if those places are hot or cold. So which one would Aidan actually prefer? I don't know at this point. What's a holiday? Maybe he wants to go during a holiday, or maybe he wants to avoid holidays because there's lots of people there. What is people? What is tapas? What is architecture? What is Gaudi? So the idea is that there's actually quite a few things that the computer has to know. And the idea is that all of that content, every single piece of information on the web, needs to have metadata associated with it. And that metadata not only is things like dictionary definitions, but also grammar rules and connections to everything else that's related on the web. So instead of documents being related to other documents, every single term, every single entity, every single picture, every single word on the web has to understand the meaning of every other word, picture, entity on the web. This project is huge. I mean, huge. But this is what people are really thinking is the next leap forward in internet technology. When you can tell the computer, just like on Star Trek, when should I visit Barcelona? And the computer knows enough about you to say, I think you should go in June. Maybe the second half of June, because, you don't like crowds, but you like to swim in the warm water, that sort of thing. You should go in June. Instead of having to go through pages of Google search results and look at weather websites, and look at my travel history, and look at the people I know, all of that stuff, I don't have to make any of those decisions. The computer can help me make these decisions if it understands what I actually mean by when should I visit Barcelona. Metadata or data about data. I think I talked about that. So here's this is the Wikipedia article on the semantic web. I'm using Wikipedia because it's what kind of content? It's user-generated content, so it's good for the goose, it's good for the gander, right? But I summarize this. Okay, so this basically says experts don't want to do the work. They don't know how to do the work, and they don't have the time to do the work. These are problems. This is the reason basically the semantic web isn't necessarily going to happen anytime soon. Experts who do the work actually don't know how to do this because it's very technical. And they don't have the time to do it because they're too busy doing the things that feed them. People who are willing to do the work also don't really know how, and they don't have the money to do the work. So they don't have the money to build the infrastructure that can support all of this metadata and tagging and things that can happen. And even people who think this is a good idea don't actually know how to get started. Well, isn't it interesting, actually, that the people in this room, you, are exactly the answer to these challenges? You're the people who have decided that the problem itself is big, but the activity is enjoyable. It creates a sense of community, it makes you feel like you're a part of something, and it gives you a sense of accomplishment to produce something which is useful to so many millions of people in the world. But the idea that perhaps monetary compensation, money, or time are trade-offs that you can make because this is an activity that you find useful in some way. Would you say that sort of accurately describes your activity? Sort of, mostly? Is there a word that you could find for somebody who does big, important, timely jobs for no money and takes a ton of time out of their personal lives to do it, at no possible benefit directly to themselves? What's the word that you could apply to that person? Sport. A sport? I would use the word hero. I would say that you guys are heroes. This is what I would say. There's basically two kinds of heroes, right? There's this kind of hero, and this is the kind of hero that we normally associate. This guy is carrying a girl out of a fire. This is clearly heroes. person, right? But if we take a broader view of things, if we look at the longer time span, it's the person who drew the map and made sure, a community of people who made sure that the information on the map that the fire department uses to get to the fire, not also a hero. It's the person whose personal business, whose undertaking, whose mission it is to make sure that geographic information is accurate and timely, so that people can get to where they're going, especially first responders, in a timely way. Is that not a form of heroism? It's not necessarily public, but I would say those people are heroes. Are the people who modeled the building so that the fire department can understand before they get to the call exactly how many floors it has, what it's made out of. When it was made, are those people not also heroes? I would say that they are. Are the people who provided photographs of the neighborhood, the people who actually went and documented to provide this kind of information? The amount of information you can glean from a photograph is amazing. You take one photo with a camera, and you can tell more about the things you're photographing than hundreds of hours of work sitting and typing a description could ever take. Hence the picture is worth 1,000 words. I would posit that the people who are making maps, who are making 3D models, and who are documenting the world in photographic form, are heroes in a way that the world doesn't completely understand yet, but who are creating the underpinnings, the base map, for no matter what future of the internet we could possibly imagine. No matter where this thing goes, whether it's a semantic web, or a metaverse, or a geo-web, or anything else, geographic information is the base, it's the structure for all of the information that's going to come after it. And the people who are creating that information, you people, are heroes because of that. And that's why, from all of us, we want to say thank you. And this, I don't just mean Google, I mean from the entire world. You guys are at the core of something